like the trick question one because there was no, I guess. So I really came here for Rwanda, but it just so happened I was taking a global AIDS class this previous term, and I learned a ton of stuff about Uganda, especially because the U.S. has had a big role in positively affecting HIV/AIDS in Uganda. So it just so happened, like, it worked out perfectly that I had like very little foundation in Rwanda from a few years ago, and then I just started learning a ton about Uganda in the past 2 months. So it worked out pretty perfectly.
The Heritage Tour was one of them. Would it be possible to send different groups on different tours?
Definitely.
Tours.
I was going to say, along with what James was saying, if you consider breaking up the groups, that would be even easier for us to accommodate and breaking them up into different weekends. It allows for even more individualized attention for the groups when they're smaller. And we like to travel by 15-passenger van to get into different areas, as opposed to large tour bus. And it's easier to accommodate into smaller regions and going into these communities as a smaller group as opposed to a larger 75-person group. So if you'd be willing, not to say that we couldn't work with a large group, but our options are less working with a larger group than with a smaller group.
And less intimacy.
We also believe that in the smaller groups, we would offer better educational experience to the students into how responsible tourism to the culture and the delicate balance of the eco systems that we want the students to look at, so that they are.
It seems like they would work well with your interests. We have one that's called the Heritage Tour, and it starts in Tucson, Arizona. It is a 3-day, 2-night tour, $599 per person per double room. So we would, at this particular tour, it's not homestays, it is motels, both nights. And also, one other thing about the cost is 10% of the cost goes towards local conservation efforts and groups that work in conservation. But the Heritage Tour, as you could tell by the name, does focus a lot on the heritage of the area, the indigenous populations of the Sonoma Desert region and the border regions between Mexico and Arizona. It is a tour where we do visit a number of sites with a guide who is a local from the area. We use as many local guides and staff as we can in our programs. And we visit the Hohokam Indians of the area. There's opportunity for interaction with the people of these heritage groups. And we also go to, from a more historical perspective, we visit the rock art, the petroglyphs of the native Hohokam Indians, and explore their art and their culture from a more historical perspective. There are a number of opportunities along the way for interaction with different groups and local people. And language is not a requirement in this case. All of our guides are English-speaking and Spanish-speaking, and can serve as translators as well as some of our staff. And like Katie says, that we can cater the tour to individual needs and requests. So if you have something specific you want to explore in the area, we can look into that. And we have numerous connections with a lot of different NGOs in the